So here we are now in Unit 8, where we're talking now about the strategic toolkit. You'll recall we actually said that the purpose of strategy was to come up with the answer to the 4 questions: where are we now, where are we going, how do we get there, and how do we know we're on track? Well, in thinking about how do we get there, it's not necessary each time to invent new strategies, because there's a lot of generic strategies that are available to strategic managers that we all know about. There are things like organic strategies. Do we invest in using our own resources and our own assets and our own capabilities, and we just grow what we do because we do it well? Or do we use merger and acquisition? Can we find another organisation where very rapidly, either through merging, bringing the 2 organisations together to form a new organisation, or acquisition, buying them, we could actually suddenly gain a capability to execute on the strategy, or we could enter a market that we're keen to get into. And you read the business press daily and you'll see organisations that are undertaking mergers and acquisitions in order to fulfil their strategy. Do we use cooperation and collaboration strategies where 2 organisations get together because combined they have capabilities that they don't have apart? So does one organisation that's really good at, for example, product development, get together with another organisation that's got really good distribution, and between those 2 organisations create a collaboration in which the products of one organisation are distributed by the other in a way that helps them to both achieve their goals? And you know, the classic examples of things like Amazon and eBay and their use of Australia Post or the United States Postal Service to do their distribution, their collaboration to both fulfil their objectives, is a classic example of collaboration strategies. Those collaboration strategies can ultimately be strongly formalised and created into things like strategic alliances. So the airlines that cooperate to co-sell each other's products in order to be able to each offer their customer stakeholders a much bigger network than the organisation could create through its own organic resources, is an example of strategic alliances. Or the other one that's mentioned in the text about Interflora, where a whole bunch of small businesses called florists create a strategic alliance in which they can all sell flowers that are going to be delivered on the other side of the world. They're just really good examples of strategic alliances. Another key question the organisation needs to focus some attention on is, are we better off specialising in one piece of the value chain and delivering just one area of value, or are we better off either vertically or horizontally integrating? So vertical integration would be, for example, a retailer moving back upstream and becoming the creator of its own products. And you see a lot of organisations doing that. Australia Post, for example, sources a range of products which it then sells through its retail outlets. Most of the major supermarket chains have their own branded products. So they're vertically integrating by moving back up the channel in order to not only be a retailer but also be a producer of product. However, that's at some cost. They are resources that may have been better spent in just being a better retailer, or the manufacturer who moves downstream in order to become a retailer might have been better off just being a better manufacturer. So that question of vertical and horizontal integration is one that the organisation needs to constantly test. But there are a generic range of strategies in the toolkit, and our job as strategic managers is, when we get to the decision about how do we deliver the outcomes that we've articulated in our objectives in order to fulfil the vision, first consideration is, are there some of the strategies in the generic toolkit that we have the strengths to do well, and let's use those, and then let's consider the creation of new strategy. But this unit is all about understanding how and when we would use those generic strategies in the strategic toolkit.